Good evening, guys. Hey, I know it's been a couple weeks, but I've been trying to get ready for Christmas. All all that stuff that we normally do when we're getting ready for the holidays. But I just wanted to get on here and give a little bit of encouragement. Um, I've had a couple dreams, but I'm not going to share them because I just I want to get more from Holy Spirit to just to know if I should share it or not. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to read a little bit of the Bible, just a little excerpt um, about Jairus in the book of Mark, chapter 5. And I think it's interesting, what he was going through and how he reacted to the absolute worst news ever. Okay, so Mark 5, starting in chapter 21, and I've got the NKJV, New King James Version, which is, I just think it's easier for me. So now when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to him, and he was by the sea. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name. Okay, so he's a ruler of the synagogue, you know? Think about that. He had to, out of all of his beliefs and everything, he had to throw it all aside, everything that he believed, and just go to the root. He went to Jesus because his daughter was not getting better. In fact, she was deathly ill. Okay, so going along. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. He fell at Jesus' feet. This is the ruler of the synagogue. And begged him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her that she may be healed and she will live." So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed him and thronged him. Now, a certain woman, now this is a miracle in itself as well. This woman, um, now a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all of her money on all these doctors and wasn't getting any better. So she had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, "If only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well." Well, I think it's pretty remarkable that she believed and she risked getting into trouble because she was not supposed to be around others. Back in those days, when you had an issue like that, you had to be separate from everyone else. Um, so she risked getting into a lot of trouble, and she believed, and she said that out loud. So in her faith, she proclaimed it out loud, and then she followed it up by actions, by touching his garment. Okay, immediately the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, "Who touched my clothes?" Now remember, he's got a great multitude, surrounding everywhere, all around him, okay? But his disciples said to him, "You see the multitude thronging you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your afflictions." Okay, that is an awesome, you know, uh, I say story, but I mean, it's true. It actually happened in the Bible, but in the past, but that's not what I really wanted to get to. I wanted to get back to Jairus. Okay. Now his baby girl, okay, his daughter, is so deathly ill. She's at the point of death. And he's a ruler of a synagogue. He threw down all, I mean, mentally, in his heart, in his mind, he threw down all of those beliefs and everything that he held to be true. Nothing was working. So he threw it all down and he ran and he threw himself at Jesus's feet. Okay. Okay. So going on, while he was still speaking, Jesus was speaking to the woman. Some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house who said, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?" As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, "Do not be afraid, only believe." And he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. Okay, so Jesus told him not to be afraid and to believe. Okay, nobody else followed Jesus. All right, at this point in time, Jairus reduced the conversation to one voice. He was only listening to Jesus. Okay, which is super important right now because he was believing for a miracle. Then he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue and saw a tumult and those who wept and wailed loudly. When he came in, he said to them, "Why make you this commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. But when he had put them all outside, notice they were all outside. Okay. He took the father and the mother of the child and those who were with him, right? And that was just a few of his disciples. Okay. Those are the only ones he allowed in the room, and entered where the child was lying. Then he took the child by the hand and said to her, Talitha Kumai. I probably butchered that. Talitha Kumai, which is translated, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." Immediately the girl arose and walked, for she was 12 years of age, and they were overcome with great amazement. Okay, so I think that in this story of Jairus and his dying daughter, his 12-year-old daughter, and Jesus, he had his belief system. He was the ruler of a synagogue, and more than likely all the other leaders and elders in that synagogue were against Jesus, right? And they frowned upon Jesus's his ministry, his preaching and teaching to the people and doing wonderful miracles and everything. They frowned upon it because they didn't believe that he was the Messiah. So think about that. The ruler of the synagogue, who supposedly looked down on Jesus, did not believe he was the Messiah, and they had all their rules and the law. And he got so desperate to save his daughter's life that he threw all of his beliefs out the door, threw him to the curb, just kicked him on out. He didn't care what anybody thought. Everybody that was around Jesus, were also the same people that go to synagogue, and so there may have even been other rulers or elders of the synagogue there just to see what Jesus was doing. I mean, think about it. This man, of course, we know Jesus, was doing all these wonderful miracles and teaching such wonderful parables that were just amazing. It was like a new concept for them, right? So he threw all of that out the door, kicked it all to the curb, didn't care what anybody thought about him. He just threw it all out. He didn't care. He was desperate. He wanted to save his daughter. And he threw himself at the feet of Jesus. And at that point, he didn't listen to anybody else except Jesus. He reduced the conversation to one, to Jesus. And so I just want everyone who is feeling weary and tired and just so done with everything that's going on in this world, don't give up. I know some of us are getting desperate. Some of us have possibly lost our jobs. Maybe family members have gotten sick. Maybe some have died. But I just want you guys to realize there's still hope. There's always hope. And that is Jesus. And we just need to stop our busy lives, stop our worrying and trying to figure it all out ourselves and listen to that one still voice that never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and forever. That still voice. We just need to disconnect from everything around us, disconnect from the world, from what other people are telling you, possibly your boss, your family members, your friends, or whatnot, bill collectors, just disconnect and just listen to that still soft voice, that voice that can change everything. And I just want you guys to be encouraged. It's not over. It's not over, you guys. We know with everything that's going on that we can be out of here literally any second now. Okay, guys, so I don't want to make this too long, but I just want you guys to be encouraged, and just like that woman, who had that issue, and she was desperate to be healed, and Jairus, it's that simple. You believe, admit you're a sinner. If you come across this video and you do not know Jesus, and you see everything going on around you, and time is getting short, and so you want to be able to go when it is our time in the rapture, so that you're not stuck in the tribulation, because it's going to be a horrible place, and very few will survive, and it's nothing you want to go through. So anyway, not fear mongering, but I just want you guys to have encouragement and hope. And if you don't know Jesus, I want to just explain to you how easy it is. It's easy as ABCs. So you admit you're a sinner, that you've done bad things, and everybody knows when you do bad things, you get punishment, right? But here's the good thing. Jesus already took that punishment for us. So you admit you're a sinner and ask Jesus forgiveness. You believe that Jesus is Lord. You believe that he died for you, was buried, and was raised again on the third day. Yes, he is alive. He is alive and well. He is not dead. So believe on Jesus, and then call upon his name, So it is with the heart one believes, and with the mouth proclaims, and that's as easy as it is. You admit you're a sinner, believe Jesus paid your debt, accept him in your heart, call upon his name, and it's that simple in a nutshell, So anyway, and prayers don't have to be fancy. You can just say, hey Jesus, I'm here and I need you, and I'm a sinner, and I ask your forgiveness, and I believe that you died for me, taking my punishment instead of me, and that you rose on the third day, and I'm calling upon you to be my Savior. And there you go. It's that simple. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll try to be on this weekend. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm praying for you guys. Have a blessed evening.